Speaking of what we endorse, the Donald Trump amidst his um, legal situations is going full steam ahead with planning to win back the presidency come this fall. When do they do this thing in November?
Yeah.
And apparently he is coming up with a plan to attract the black vote. The black vote. And what's that plan? Surprise! He is looking to partner with hip hop stars and pro athletes. What a surprise. I am shocked to hear that anybody in politics has a strategy of attracting black people by going after pro athletes, which I'm assuming is going to be basketball players and football players, as well as rappers. Why am I not surprised? Usually we hear about this stuff on the other side with the Democrats, with the DNC. But here we have Trump saying, oh, this is how I'm going to get these people. You know, watch me go. We are partnering with all kinds of people behind the scenes, and wait till you see what we got rolling out for y'all. So, for a little context here, this says Donald Trump hopes to secure black and Latino votes with hip hop and athlete endorsements at Madison Square Garden event. Donald Trump reportedly wants to hold a massive campaign event at Madison Square Garden in New York City featuring black hip hop artists and athletes. According to a new report from the Associated Press, the former president of the United States hopes the move can help him earn key votes from black and Latino Americans that could push him over the edge in this year's election. Lynn Patton, a senior advisor on the campaign overseeing coalitions, says the Trump team is laying the groundwork for an expansive outreach toward minority voters. We are speaking with black leaders. We are speaking with small business owners. We're speaking with famous athletes, hip hop artists, some of whom I think you'd be surprised if you knew who was talking with us right now, she said in an interview, according to the AP. These are people who are expressing openness to supporting President Trump both publicly and privately. I'm not exactly sure what privately means or what value that is, but okay. Plenty of artists in hip hop have voiced support for Donald Trump over the years, including Kanye West, Kodak Black, as well as Lil Pump and more. Former President Barack Obama theorized why some rappers support Trump during an interview with The Atlantic in 2022. At the time, he previously suggested that for some artists in the genre, it's all about the bling, the women, the money. A lot of rap videos are using the same measures of what it means to be successful as Donald Trump is. Everything is gold plated. That insinuates itself and seeps into the culture. Jasmine Harris, who works as Joe Biden's campaign director of black media, labeled Trump a fraud. In response to the report, Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans proudly admitting that they have no real strategy to reach black voters because they believe all they need is rap concerts and free chicken is only surprising if you haven't paid attention to Trump's fraudulent relationship to black America for years, they told the AP. Be on the lookout for further updates on Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. So, I would say that this is Donald Trump's attempt to use the Democrat strategy to his benefit. But I'll let you speak for yourself. What do you think about this plan to get in bed with hip hop artists and pro athletes to try and appeal to black and Latino voters for the Orange Man?
I think it'll work. I think yeah, it'll do what it does. I think it's a brilliant strategy. I feel like this is my problem with the Republican Party is that they don't pander enough. And everybody knows this is pandering, but it works. So just do it. So I like it. Is it a slap in the face of black people? You know, people that are out here that really want to change and all this other stuff. Is it a slap in our face to think that this is all we are? It is. But as you mentioned, the Democrats do it too, and they've been doing it for years. So what's the big deal now? You know, and I think it's because Orange Man, and I think and because he's pulling this, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of backlash for the people that show up to this performance or any of the people that support him in secret. so, so there's going to be backlash for this, but I'm here for it all. I enjoy and this is why I enjoy Trump so much, is because this is entertaining politics. Like he's built a character of a bigoted person, and for him to be doing these things where you still have this reputation of being a bigot, it's like an insult. Yes, it's such an insult. It's like, what is this? But that's the part about it that's funny to me. I like this. So me, I'm a person that, don't really get into politics like that. I look at it as a horse and pony show, the horse and pony show that it is. And so if it's a good show, I'm gonna be sitting there laughing with popcorn. And so Trump to me is good TV. And to me, this is good humor. So I would like to see this happen. I would like to see some prominent artists out there. I want to hear the backlash. Like I want all of this. So I'm here for it. So what are your thoughts on Sir Trump leaning into hip hop and sports to get Black and Latinos to vote?
Why not? I say why not? You know, I don't know how smart he actually is. I don't know him. I don't know any of these individuals. I don't know how smart any of these people are. I know a lot of y'all think that y'all know how smart these people are. You don't. These individuals have speechwriters, publicists, PR people, strategists, chief of staffs. They've got, communications directors, marketers, managers. They have entire operations behind them pulling the strings. You don't actually know how smart these people are. So just taking Donald Trump out of it because he's a lightning rod, you can say what you want about him or his candidacy. What I think is difficult to disagree with is he probably has smart people working for him. I would imagine he has smart people working for him. And what I think the smart people working for him are starting to kind of get a sense of is I think they're starting to get a sense, and I think this as well. So maybe this is my own personal belief speaking for me.
Mhm.
But I think they're looking around and they're saying, a lot of people do not really like the country the direction that this country is headed socially. I think the people who work for him, they may conduct private focus groups. I don't know what they got going on, but I think that there is some intel that is informing them on the belief that there are more people than we care to realize who do not like the general direction that this country is headed in, especially socially. And a lot of the people who feel that way are people who historically have probably always supported the other side. But the thing is, Black and Latino voters, for the most part, not even all Latinos, because if you come down here to South Florida, it's a lot of Latinos that don't do things the way you would traditionally think minorities did them. They go the other way. They go red a lot. So I don't even think it's all Latinos, but I think a lot of people have always historically thought of like Black and Latino voters as supporting Democrats because Democrats support disenfranchised people. And so I think a lot of those people are now starting to privately say, I don't really like the direction that this place is going in, especially socially. But they don't want to do that publicly because they don't want to risk being ostracized by their own community, because
Mhm.
the collective of their own communities dictates that you have to continue to support the blues because the blues are always what's best for us, even though historically the blues have been involved in things that have not always supported disenfranchised people. And disenfranchised people statistically is largely Black people and Hispanic people. So, when you do your own research and you look into some of this stuff and you learn that, like, three strikes, for example, implemented in 1993, California passed its own three strikes law in 1994. That's just one example. Three strikes, I don't think anybody would disagree that that was a policy that disproportionately contributed to putting a lot of these people in prison. And that was a policy that was enacted during a Democratic president. That was enacted during a Democratic administration. Same thing with stop and frisk. Stop and frisk came along, in 1964. New York State passed a law in 1964 making stop and frisk constitutional. They started enacting it widespread in 1968. During that span of time, it was a Democratic administration under LBJ. So my point is, historically, this idea that everything that the Blues have done has been for these people is a bit of a fallacy if you look into it. What the Blues have been effective at is giving us a lot of free stuff that encourage a lack of accountability and poor work ethic, in my opinion. But be that as it may, I just bring that up to say I'm not trying to go down a political rabbit hole. I'll bring that up to say I get the general sense that the people working for Orange Man probably sense that a lot of people who have always been on that other side are on the fence, and they don't like the way that this country is headed socially, the social construction of it being so crazy and chaotic and anarchaic. They feel some type of way about that. And maybe we can sway a lot of them over to how we want, sway a lot of them over to our side. And what's an effective way to sway a lot of them over to our side? Well, let's do the same thing that the Dems always did. Let's just juke and jive and get these rappers and these basketball players and football players to endorse us publicly. And that's how we can get them onto our side. And that strategy might be, we might be able to employ that strategy more effectively if our inclination that a lot of people are frustrated, fed up, and upset with the way things are going proves to be true. And I think that they have a lot of reason to believe that that is, in fact, what is happening, whether people care to admit it publicly or not. Because there's a lot of bullying that goes on when it comes to this politics stuff. You have a lot of people from our community who, even if they want to go another route or try something different, they'll never say it publicly because they'll just get shamed, because you just can't be black and do things Republican or conservative. Then you're just kind of a traitor. So a lot of us just will never say it publicly as a result. But privately, are a lot of us thinking about this? I'm inclined to believe yes. And it just so happens that the other side is being headed up by this guy, by this flamethrower, by the orange man, who, again, I will reiterate, I don't exactly know how smart he is, but I think he is able to take advantage of a growing sentiment amongst a lot of people in this country who thinks that a lot of the stuff that is going on is insane. So I do think, like you, that it is pandering. Um, it is placating. It is posturing. It is completely contrived, but it's also effective and it works because so many of us don't have the capacity to think for ourselves, unfortunately. And if there are a lot of us who are saying, I don't like the way that this is going, maybe I want to try something new. If there are enough of us who are starting to feel that way, and I'm inclined to think that there are, then I think that this is something that could very well work to his benefit.
Yeah. And me personally, I think the whole thing is a racket. I feel like these people get selected, not elected. So I personally, whoever goes into office, kind of like what The Rock said, is hey man, it's whatever. I'm neutral to it. So here's my thing. One of the better things that people can do, one of the things that's stronger than your vote is your money. And you vote every single day. You vote when you go to the gas station, you vote when you go to the grocery store. And every day you're making your selection. So I would tell people that get so up in arms about presidential situations to look at their everyday interactions and see what they're actually voting for. And I say all that stuff to say is that if we really want to see a change, we're going to have to do it economically. And it has to be voting with our dollars. Uh, Honestly, man, the food right now is wrecking everybody. Everybody's having digestive issues right now. When I say everybody, I say loosely, but there's a lot more people having digestive issues than ever before, I would argue. And I would say that that's due to the food in the stores that everybody knows is very low quality. All right. So, but there's things that we can do to take action on things like that, and the things that matter. I'm not saying state and local stuff don't matter, but it'd be a lot of stuff out of our hands. I done voted, yes on proposition whatever before, and what the hell did that do? But if I say no to this particular franchise that does XYZ, and everybody else says no, I think they're going to feel that. So I think what people need to do is stop playing around with these politicians who's clearly playing around with you. And that's the part about this that I think's hilarious. That's why I said in the first segment that this stuff is funny to me, because there's going to be people who really attend this concert and get swayed, and they're going to vote, and they're going to vote, and they're going to think that they did something. And what I'm here to tell them right now is they didn't do a damn thing, because they still went to that same gas station and voted. They still went to that same supermarket and voted. So what you just told these people is that you want more of this. And if anything, if anybody's paying attention, corporations have a lot larger say than our local politicians do. So if we make these corporations feel it, then maybe they'll do something politically, in our favor, if you will. But we have to vote at the grocery store and everywhere else, and maybe we will start to see some changes. But if these people out here, left or right, they're all using us. Jay-Z and whoever else, P. Diddy Puffs with the Democrats, and Harlem shaking on stage, telling people to vote or die, and all this other rigmarole, and nothing changed, So what difference would it make with these characters playing this game? So yeah, just be mindful, guys. And if you do really think that voting for presidential candidates you're gonna vote anyway. But I'm also here to tell you that you vote with your dollars too. So be a little bit more mindful with that, and maybe you'll start to see more immediate changes.
Yep. And yeah, just we say this all the time, but people really need to learn the value and the importance of thinking for, like, if you do your own independent research and you connect certain dots and you genuinely feel like something doesn't make sense, go with that. Don't let the masses convince you that you have to be doing certain things a certain way because of what your background is. If something doesn't make sense to you, then go with your gut on that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whatever that means, however because I don't care this isn't a political topic really. This is a think for yourself, understand how to not be swayed by foolishness topic.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Don't just because you like Taylor Swift and Beyonce, don't vote for the same person they tell you to vote for. Especially if you do research, and you understand that a lot of what this person is talking about doesn't make sense and doesn't add up.
Yeah.
But these individuals really do look at you like numbers on a spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look at you as human beings. They look at you as numbers on a spreadsheet. It's casting a wide net. It's the funnel approach. What is something that we can do to get most of these people to be socially conditioned to believe that we are right for them? And that's how they appeal to your sensibilities with musicians and rappers and basketball players and football players. Don't believe that hype. Do your own research, and if stuff doesn't make sense, don't go with it. Even if your parents are telling you you're supposed to because of who you are or where you come from, if it doesn't make sense, don't go for it. Even if your spouse is telling you you need to do it because your background and where you come from, don't go for it. Even if I don't give a damn. No, I'm serious. I don't give a damn. If they respect you, they'll respect you. Oh, well, it is what it is. Even if you got siblings or family members telling you you're supposed to do something because your background, if it don't make sense and it don't add up, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And do not let these minstrel show rappers tell you you're supposed to vote one way or the other. Do what you think makes the most sense based upon the independent research that you've done. And I agree with you 100%. Money, economics moves all of this. This is capitalism. Mm-hmm. We are not in a socialist nation, except for some of the social policies. We are. But if we're talking about what makes this country move, it's about the finances, it's about the GDP, it's about the economics. Mm-hmm. If you take your money elsewhere, they will feel that. Yeah. It's why I never bought into Colin Kaepernick's stance, and I never bought into people complaining about the Atlanta Braves or the Cleveland Indians or the Washington Redskins. If you really have a problem with this stuff, don't go to the game. Correct. If you don't go to the game, if you don't buy the tickets, if you don't buy the jerseys, if you don't buy the stuff, there'll be forced to do whatever you want. They'll be forced to. But a lot of people don't understand that, and they think that they can, as you intimated, spend their money frivolously or not necessarily understand the importance of where they're putting their purchasing power, but fill out a bubble on a piece of paper and think that that's going to make all the difference in the world. And these individuals count on that kind of, small-minded thinking. So just keep that kind of stuff in mind, man.
Yeah.
You know, you can impact these things in ways that you would like to, beyond how you fill out a ballot sheet. But you do have to be an independent thinker, in my opinion. It does take being an independent thinker. If you're a group thinker, they're just going to catch you in their net. They're going to catch you in their funnel.
108. I want to see this lineup, man. So I'm looking at Meek, Lil Uzi. Who else?
Meek ain't gonna be. Nah, Meek ain't gonna be there.
Why not?
Meek has been too on that criminal justice reform stuff. He's been too, and he ain't gonna be there. He ain't gonna be there.
Well, surely Lil Uzi's gonna be there.
Sure,
With his purse.
maybe.
What's that? A Hermes? What that is? What that is?
Bro.
Hey man, it's a wild game, bro. But that lineup's gonna be hilarious. I'm here for it. Bro.
Yeah, we will definitely talk about it here. That's for sure. Shouts out to Orange Man.
Yeah.